Josephine Lagu gave a very, very interesting, detailed, and historic, I would say, speech about South Sudan. She introduced the world to South Sudan. She gave the historical background of the country, how the country gained independence and how the country went back into war, and what is the vision of the government of South Sudan into 2037 or so. She gave a very interesting speech, and she gave some statistics as well that are very interesting and eye-catching. But to so many people, what she said in that speech is not the reality. To some people, much of what Josephine Lagu said in that speech is not a reality. One of the things, for instance, that she mentioned during her speech is that the South Sudan government is so much concerned about peace implementation. The government of South Sudan, led by President Salva Kiir, has over and over again promised South Sudanese that Kiir has promised South Sudanese that he will never ever take the country back to war. Yes, I've had that said by President Salva Kiir, which is true. Josephine Lagu said the peace agreement, the implementation of the revitalized peace agreement 2019, today is at 60%. I don't want to judge her, but South Sudanese back home on the ground knows exactly what 60% would mean. We know all the steps that are still lagging behind in the implementation of the peace agreement. So to so many people in South Sudan, they feel that is not a reality. Josephine Lagu also mentioned that the enrollment of school-going children has increased from about 300,000 to about 1 million something. But she also acknowledged that still about 2.8 children are not in school. That is a very great acknowledgement. That says so much about, in a population of about 11 million people, and 2.8 school-going children are unable to go to school. This tells you so much about the interests of kids, of parents, of the deliberate efforts by the government to actually make these kids go to school. It speaks so much. One other thing that Josephine said, advocated for during her speech, is that she called for debt cancellation, she called for debt relief, she called for debt forgiveness. That means all the monies that the South Sudan government has been borrowing